everyone. My name is Brandon Crawford, and I am sick and tired of paying so much for college. I can't speak for the mass, but I personally pay $2,000 plus a semester. This is my second semester of sophomore year, though, so that's 4 semesters that I've paid $2,000 plus dollars, and it does not feel good. It's horrible to know that I'm going to graduate probably being in more debt than I would be making with my first job. It's shout out to the bursar's office, but it doesn't feel good when you pay so much for something that you don't feel like is worthy of your money. No offense to my professors, and this definitely doesn't apply to you, but I feel as if my professors break the rules of engagement more than I do, other than Professor Allen. But I feel like they're not putting in the $2,000 plus dollars that I'm paying. Most of my professors actually at this point aren't professors. They're TAs who honestly shouldn't have a job, in my opinion. What they're teaching me, I honestly don't think will ever have anything to do with my life. I'm paying and passing classes that probably won't have anything to do with my career. I'm taking geology and psychology and stuff like that when I'm a journalism major. I want to do video production. What does how you think have to do with editing a video? No offense to your thoughts. But it simply does not feel good knowing that I pay this much money and my mother is paying this much money and I'm still probably going to end up graduating in more debt than I'm getting paid with my first job. And something else that bothers the mess out of me is that knowing or hearing, I hope most of you have heard this, but your generation will lead America, is the future. Why does our generation have to be so broke to do such things? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do something like that. Why do we have to be the future doctors and the future accountants and new Bill Gates and all that good stuff when we can't even pay to go to school? When we have to pay so much for education that, to be honest, isn't even worthy of that much money. Paying $2,000 again for an education that won't get me anywhere.
Let's hear it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandon Crawford. Almost 20 years ago, a young lady named Autumn gave birth to a son named Brandon Crawford in Memphis, Tennessee. Autumn, at the time, was only 15 years old. She went back to her home. She took her son back to her home, which was a 3-bedroom house that was housing 14 people. Well, 14 with the new addition to the family. And, excuse me, Autumn knew when she first got pregnant that she wanted more for her son. She wanted better. She wanted her son to be able to live a life that she could say she never had the chance to. She wanted him to be able to say that he had a great life. He didn't have to worry. He didn't have to try so hard to just be decent. And Autumn, at the age of 15, excuse me, at the age of 15, continued high school, graduated on time, top in her class in high school, went directly to college, moved out at the age of 18 from that house with 14 people in it, moved out on her own, and started working full-time. Went to school full-time also, and was amazing. She is the reason why I am who I am today. She's the reason why I'm standing here today. Without that lady, I know for a fact I would probably be in somewhere I don't even want to think of. But she has by far been my rock since day one. And the hardest thing that I've ever had to overcome was last semester. She called me toward the end of October saying she had found a lump in her breast, and she went to the doctor and they found out it was a tumor. But she went back and found out that it was not cancerous, thankfully. But not too long later, she felt that her hands and her feet weren't feeling right. So she went back to the doctor. And she didn't tell me exactly what happened, but when I got home from Thanksgiving break, I went to sleep that night after driving 6 hours to Memphis. And when I woke up, she came in my room, told me to come sit on the bed with her, my stepfather, and my little 6-year-old brother. She told me that she had just got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And after Thanksgiving break, my mother, we have a relationship that I don't think can ever be broken, but it was one of the hardest things in my life to have my mother call me every night and crying because she can't wrap her mind around this deadly disease. Not even the fact that she was hurting so bad, but just the fact that she had something that she couldn't control. It's something that she didn't do, something that she couldn't make a difference with. And that was easily the hardest thing I've ever had to overcome. Easily the hardest thing I'm still overcoming. Having that one person that's always caught me before I fell, held me up when I needed it, coming to me for exactly that. Having me want to talk to her and make sure to tell her that everything will be okay. And that was by far the hardest thing I've ever had to overcome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandon Crawford. And a quick question: is anyone in here planning to study abroad or ever plan on going out of the States? Anybody ever plan on visiting China by any chance? Well, just think about the simple fact of you're telling your parents, see you later, I'll be back in a couple of weeks. You get to China or wherever your destination is and you get a taxi. You get the taxi and you tell them your destination, but they start driving somewhere that's not what you expect. You don't know the country at all, but you know you're not going where you're supposed to. You get somewhere and this man comes, gets you out the car and takes you somewhere with a whole bunch of other men, or other females, like yourself, and tells you that you're now working. Here's the thing talking about sex trafficking, mainly in China, but as a whole. Sex trafficking, defined by Merriam-Webster, is the possession of human beings to work for others, not only as sex, but also labor. To expand a little bit more, sex trafficking isn't, in my mind, I think about sex. I think about the movie Taken. See that? I think about the fact that the young ladies are taken off to do sexual things for money, but it's not. Sexual trafficking can also be the fact of basically voluntary labor, making someone work in sweatshops, making people build things for you, probably don't pay at all. And a lot of people don't really think about that. But according to humantrafficking.org, it's about 20,000 people in China right now that are victims of trafficking, not just sex, but involuntary labor also. One pro, it's kind of hard to think about pro to such tragic action, but as I told you earlier, in my head I thought straight sexual when it comes to trafficking, but it can be better as involuntary labor. I would much rather see someone have someone working other than being put in much dangerous situations such as sex trafficking, dealing with drugs, and this and that, other than just making clothes. And doing things, it's not good, but at the same time, it's losing something that also is safe. Also, the negative to that is sex trafficking. Sex trafficking can be very dangerous only because the fact that drugs are involved most of the time. Women don't really know what they're doing, they don't know what they are. And also, it's not easy to do. So, most times, this is leading a lot of women with a lot of uncontrolled substances and diseases that they can't live without. But to basically hone in a little bit more on sex trafficking, to try to stop it, people say look out for where your destination is. If you already go study abroad, if you already go across the country, look and see where you're at. If you see a large population of men, not very women, or you see people coming in and out of places that don't look very professional, pay attention a little bit more to your setting and your surroundings to make sure you know exactly where you are. And that's my speech on sex trafficking. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandon Crawford. How's everyone doing? Good. That's good. Well, you don't have to raise your hands. Just, I'm a little curious. Feel free to raise your hand. But will anybody in here graduate with debt from student loans? Okay. I myself will be one of those people. And it doesn't feel good knowing you're going to graduate and already be in the minus. But my main point today is to talk about where I'm wasting this much money at. I feel like Gen Ed should be totally deleted out of college itself. Gen Eds are basically the classes that we take that society feels are needed for a person to be well-rounded. I feel like I'm a decent person in life without most of my Gen Eds, and to be honest with you, most of my Gen Eds, I learned the material just for the test, and afterwards I totally forgot my professor's name. And it has no point in my career. Most time, I'm a journalism and electronic media major. I'm a sophomore. At the end of the semester, I will have 70 credit hours, and I checked my DARS report from the utk.edu or journalism and electronic media majors, and I need 60 hours in my major to be considered have a bachelor's of journalism and electronic media. Like I said, after this semester I have 70 credit hours. Only 24 of those hours will be considered journalism classes, which means without gen ed classes, I could have graduated at the end of the semester if I was just getting a degree in journalism and electronic media. That being said, both of these classes, in my opinion, and what I really think is happening, are to basically fund the school. Most times the school is making people take classes that they feel are needed, but really aren't, just so more money can be put into their hands. More money can be circulated around campus. More money can be given to things that we essentially never see, in my opinion. But even then, I feel like these classes, in the long run, will never have any effect on our life. At most, I remember one thing from most of my gen ed classes, and they really have nothing to do except for my public speaking class. That was actually a pretty good class, and I liked it a lot. But other than that, everything else really had no detrimental effect on my life. And me being an aspiring photographer and graphic designer, doing things that I love to do, actually with jobs that I already have right now, I have yet to find a meaning for most of my classes. And sadly, this correlates with some of my journalism classes, but those are needed. But the gen eds are just reasons why a lot of people are so stressed most days. I know I've talked to a lot of my peers, and most of them say they're stressed out about this, they're stressed out about that. And most times, it's in classes that they don't even need. Classes that our advisors tell us to take just because, hey, we need you to take this class, you have to take this, it's on your DARS report, it has to be done, but it has no meaning whatsoever to our life. And a way that I want to try to tell people, I have a couple of different ways to try to tell people, try to get around the system. One is, unless you just really want to go to a major university such as UT or something like that, I really advise going to, especially in my case, art institutes or colleges mainly exactly for what you want to do with your life. For my personal opinion, I realized what I wanted to do in college just a tad bit before I got here. And I feel like, I don't want to say UT was the wrong decision, but I feel like I would have learned a lot more somewhere else, such as an art institute somewhere.